Hey, welcome folks. Loan Coach Kelly here, bringing you today to the newest episode of North Coast Coffee Chats, episode 30, right?
3-0.
3-0. And got my partner in crime with me today.
David West, your solar best.
Yes, sir. And so we're part of NCCC, North Coast Networking Group. We put together this podcast to introduce the members of our group, get to know them a little bit better, understand where they come from, the entrepreneur spirit that brought them into our networking group, and give them some opportunity to share their business with us, get to know about their business and how we can help them grow their business. And so today, we've got a super special guest on, repeat guest. Now we're going through cycle 2 with some of our members. And this is my other partner in crime, Christian Vickery.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you back on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got a little monkey in the middle now. I mean, we switched it up.
Yeah.
Kelly's in the middle.
Change of pace here today.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun. I got to grill both of them. So this is the top tier property management power team. To clarify, you guys formed end of 2022 or beginning of 23?
Technically, I think January of 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was our true launch date.
Yeah. And so our first episode with you, Christian, was, I believe, like middle of 2023. You guys were a couple months into it. It was just starting to kick off.
Yep.
You guys now have about 300 properties in North County.
So in North County, we probably have about 200.
Okay.
And then the other 150 to 160 are up in the Bay Area.
Gotcha.
So total about 360, 365 properties we manage.
That's exciting. How did you guys get to that level so far? I mean, in 23, I feel like you probably had 75%, 50% of that many properties.
Yeah, it's been a pretty steady growth process for us. We haven't hit like home runs, right? Like we're not out there swinging for the fences every time. But steady, consistent growth has put us on about a plus 60 property per year trajectory. We did that for the first 2 years, basically, year over year. So, we're not going this way, but we're definitely going this way. And going in that direction is making it easier to manage, easier to stay on top of. We're dealing with less, headaches and less, major problems for growing too fast, right?
Yeah, it's interesting to hear that. I feel like with growth usually comes problems. Like you kind of start breaking the systems a little bit that you put in place. And for you, it sounds like that hasn't been the case.
No, I mean, it's been the case.
Okay.
There have definitely been challenges, and there's always challenges when you're growing at a fairly quick rate,
Yeah.
You have to add new team members, We hired 3 employees in 2024. And, when we merged our companies, there's a little bit of a learning curve, just trying to figure out how each one works, trying to get our systems aligned. It's all been manageable, but definitely challenges with growth and how do we want to do this, constantly adjusting our systems, trying to improve so that we can scale properly.
Yeah, what are some of those changes that you've made over the last 2 years to like really keep that growth steady and mitigate problems in the way?
Pretty minor. I mean, really, like it's like fine tuning a guitar, right? Like you play guitar, so like you're an artist. You keep like tuning it in, trying to figure it out. Like, what's the right key? What's the right thing? Oh, is this the right process? Is this the right person? We had to make some personnel changes. We got rid of a couple of people that were a part of the company that we realized just weren't quite getting the job done that we needed to. We couldn't rely on them for, stepping out of the box and expanding their role for us. They were maybe resistant to certain things that we were trying to change. Maybe they just couldn't quite seem to stay on the right path that we needed them to stay on. So, when you get rid of people, when you change people and you bring in the new people, now you have that learning curve to retrain, get someone new into the process, get someone new to understand their role and responsibility and how we do things, why we do things this way. So I think that was probably one of our bigger challenges that we went through in 2024 was getting rid of certain people, bringing in new people, and then getting those people kind of up to speed. And then along the way, when you bring on new employees, you don't know what they don't know until you learn it.
Yeah.
Right? Like until you encounter that problem that they create because they don't know what they're doing. And you're like, that's on us. Like we should have trained them better. But sometimes, we're in the line of fire in our business. There's no no day is the same as the last. Like you just never know what's going to come up that you're going to have to address, and you're hyper reactive to almost everything that happens. Like you don't predict a hot water heater's going to blow out, right? Like you might think, oh, that hot water heater's 12 years old. At some point it's going to go. Well, you didn't know it's going to go last night at 12 o'clock. Like, so you're just like, oh God, wake up to a flood. Like, so stuff happens.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the challenges too. Like I think that Kelly and I probably start our day thinking about what we can do to improve the company, but all these things come and hit you that you were not expecting just out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you're dealing with that, and that's where your time is allotted. So there's a lot of things we want to accomplish, and I really feel that I don't really care about perfecting all of our systems. I just want to improve kind of incrementally each month, just be a little better than we were the month before. If we try a system, it doesn't work, okay, what's not working about that system? Let's adjust it a little bit and just make it a little more improved, And we're pretty good about taking feedback from our employees too, We definitely want to look at it like it's not a hierarchy. There are times where he and I just have to make a call, But for the most part, we want the feedback from our managers, because all of us putting our thoughts and synergy into something is going to be more effective in terms of the growth of the company than just the two of us doing it.
Yeah, I think that's what strikes me about the two of you, as far as you're very good at being great leaders, as far as just making sure you're firing the right people. Sometimes that's what's required, hiring the right people, training the right way, but also not being too set in your ways. Because if you're too set in your ways, then the market's going to change and you're going to fall out of it.
Yeah.
Now, that also is important when you have two business owners that you're aligned, which, from all sense and purposes, you guys are all aligned. Last time you said there was no couple fights yet.
Still haven't really had any
Still
couple
no fights?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
On the up and up on that side of things.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We're in the same room. We're both kind of loud on the phone, and miraculously, we're doing just fine.
I haven't hit him in the head with a pencil yet.
Do you think it's the whiskey that you guys have in your office that helps with that?
That helps. That's more of an end of day thing. When we've had a really
not middle of the day.
Yeah, we haven't gotten too busy early on, but we definitely at the end of a day, a nice little glass of bourbon or whiskey definitely helps get you on the right mindset to head home.
We have a very strict no whiskey before 3 policy.
Yeah. Very strict.
3 a.m. or 3 p.m.? There's no wiggle room there. It's just okay.
Always exceptions,
Golf's involved. For those of you who don't know, I guess it was probably right about when we first did the first podcast, you had just started getting the new office. Was it right then, or was it after that?
Pretty close.
November. So it would have been several months later. So we did this podcast May of 2023. It was about November of 2023. So that same year when we moved into our new space, which we're in right now, which we love.
Yeah. So they're located in Carlsbad. Also have another one of our members, Keith Badner from Farmers, our insurance agent. Yep. All located in this beautiful little complex where they just pretty much have no walls between them. They had to actually build a wall between one of the offices because Keith was so loud. But how has that improved? Because we see now in 2024, and especially just with recent executive orders, like all this return to office stuff, bringing people back. Like your work, like you said before, is very easy to do on a laptop at Better Buzz.
Absolutely.
Like super easy. But you now have an office where you're both together, and you go into office pretty much every single day. How has that made your work stronger?
Because we can bounce ideas off of each other. I hear his phone calls, he hears mine, and I think we learn from hearing each other's phone calls. And just throughout the day, we're just constantly bouncing ideas off one another, and we wouldn't have that opportunity if we were just working apart all day long. So it's certainly effective, I think, for the growth of the company.
Yeah, I think
improving our systems.
I think collaboration is a very important thing in success of business. Like, if you're a one-man band and you're just a lone soldier and it's my company, it's me, I do everything, fine, like you're beating to one drum, right? Mm-hmm. But when you're trying to build a company and you have partners and you have employees, there's so much synergy and creation that goes into like think tank style, like not really preparing a think tank style. Like he'll be on a phone call and I'll be doing my thing and I won't be on a call. So of course I'm hearing what's happening. I don't know the other side of the conversation, but I hear his side of it and I'm already formulating in my brain like what this conversation's really going on. And then like he hangs up the phone and I'm like, boy, that sounded like a doozy. Like, what do we, what's a takeaway from that? Like, what do we need to do? Because I could tell it was a problematic phone call. It was a disgruntled client. It was an upset tenant. It was we didn't prepare a property proper for move-in, and we dropped the ball on something. And it's like, instantly right now, we can both just drop what we're doing and we can focus our attention on what did we do wrong here and how do we fix that right now? Like, before we jump into the next thing, like, let's spend 5 minutes just talking about that thing. And you don't get that when you're working off on your own by yourself at home or your home office or at the coffee shop. You're at the coffee shop in your laptop and you're taking this heated phone call and you're like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. Like, I can't have this conversation out loud around people. Like, this is kind of weird. So like, it's kind of nice to have that ability to refocus on how to fix things and how to collaborate when you're in an office like that.
And just kind of piggybacking off what he said, and I think like the culture we ultimately want to build is one where, mistakes are going to happen and we don't want to blame someone necessarily when a mistake is made, but more the focus is on, okay, there was a mistake, what can we do to correct it so that maybe that same mistake doesn't happen again? So we're just slowly getting better over time. I think that's always a goal as well.
Yeah, that's cool that you get to collaborate so much. And all that does is it impacts the rest of your business. It's how your clients feel. If they feel like there's a team working to support them, like, sure, not every day's gonna be perfect. Not every property's gonna be perfect. Like 2023, you said you had 12 roof leaks within the first quarter.
Oh, it was bad.
We haven't had as much rain now, but now there's more worries about fires and
right.
Water, whatever. But you guys still maintain a really good online presence. How important has that been to like grow your business, and like how much do you focus on the reviews and just kind of the website and everything, or is it all organic?
I think most of it, frankly, is organic, but with that, and we don't do too much advertising for our company.
Yep.
But you certainly want to have a presence online. You want those reviews to be good reviews, and if that happens, I think the business just kind of takes care of itself, and the calls come in.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Yelp, for example, Yelp's been really good for us. And we don't do a whole advertising with Yelp, but we do some. But if you get those 5-star reviews, the calls will come in. You don't need a lot of reviews, but you need to have a good number of reviews, and they need to be positive, and you really got to keep that online reputation strong, and the prospective clients will call.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've kind of realized, as we kind of came through the tail end of Q4 last year, that we were not quite at our goal. Like, we didn't quite get to where we were hoping to be for the year in terms of growth. We focused a lot of attention on growing employees, so that took a little bit of attention away from growing the business, was bringing on the new employees and getting them up to speed, and then not having representation in our Northern California facilities, so we didn't really bring on any properties up there. We turned away a lot of business up there. And so our focus quickly shifted in Q4 to we need to hire someone up there. Like, we need to find somebody. And we spent a good amount of time going through, 50 or 60 resumes, and we whittled that down to 10, and then we phone interviewed 8, and then out of the 8, we personally interviewed 5, flew up to San Francisco, spent a day in our office, had 5 candidates come into our office, went to lunch, had a beer, came back, had the last interview, got back on the plane, headed home, and the next morning got back into the office.
Had one more beer before we got on.
Had one more beer before we got on the plane. Actually, those were cocktails.
That's right. That's right.
And so then we were like, formulate your thoughts, I'll formulate mine. Let's come back into the office tomorrow morning and like on the count of 3, say who your best candidate was. And we were like, 1, 2, 3, Paige. And like, we both just were like, yep, we found the one. And
it's gonna be kind of fun too, just to go through that process together.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, kind of a unique experience, and just it was definitely rewarding, and we got the employee that we wanted,
Yeah, she's been doing a fantastic job for us. So now we kind of feel like, all right, cool. Like we've got our people, we've got our, we honed in some processes, we got rid of some bad mojo and brought in some good mojo, and now we're working with Richard Zarate from Renew Marketing, another member of our NCCC group, who's also been a great podcast guest. We've engaged him and his company, and we're now in the throes of building a website where we can begin to do some marketing and we can begin to do some landing page capture stuff, and we're really starting to invest now into the business, because now we have the people we can afford to feed, right? We need to get these people business. We need to get them more doors. We need to get them up to the number of capacity that we want them at. So we're looking for 2025 to really be kind of like that catapult year for us.
Yeah, that's cool that you, I use a lot of North Coast Networking members for my personal business or just for my personal life. And I'm pretty well aware of the components that you use for top tier property management from North Coast Networking Group. But for you guys, what's been the most valuable thing from NCNG that's helped grow your business? Or a couple valuable things, can be anybody.
Yeah, I think just the relationships we've built with vendors. You know, we've got like a really strong vendor list. You know, the carpet cleaner we use, Patrick with PCH Dry Carpet Cleaning, our handyman, Eric, Sal, the general contractor. I mean, I don't know what the percentage breakdown is, but like we give a lot of work to the vendors in our group, and we just have a great relationship with them. They're really good. I think they're just like, you know, cream of the crop, just in terms of like their quality of work and you know, their professionalism, and so I think that's what I've gotten out of the group and the vendors we use.
Do you give all those referrals to Kelly so that way you can inflate his numbers, or?
Yeah. Really should put Kelly / Christian on that.
Yeah.
Referral king. There's a little bit of rhyme and reason to it, the way we've done it in the past, but you know, to the reality of it is, you know, we want to surround ourselves with people who can help us build our business, and you don't just do that by finding somebody in the yellow pages or going on to Yelp and, you know, or Craigslist and going, hey, who's this person? Like, no, like if you need to rely on your handyman to show up at the drop of a dime for a property, if you need your contractor, you need your plumber, you need your whoever your vendor is, like, you need to have a trusted relationship. You need to know that they're going to get the job done. You need to know that they've got your best interest in mind. And then when they know that they're your number one guy, like, I'm going to you for everything I can give you, and in return, do your best. Like, do your best, make us look good, don't make us look bad, get the job done, be professional, be responsible, be ethical, charge appropriate, and get the job done. And you're gonna get plenty more opportunities from us because we are reliant on that. Like, we want those relationships to feel that confidence and trust in us to keep giving you business.
Yeah.
If we have vendors that do a poor job, the reflection of that is that top tier property management is doing a poor job. So it's really important that they represent us well when they're entering our properties.
Wow, that's really important, because when it comes to property management, I mean, you're dealing with people's safe spaces, their homes, where they just feel comfortable. And as soon as something goes wrong, whether it's the water heater or the toilet or whatever it is that just blows up, the roof leaking, and it doesn't get handled in a efficient, timely manner, and then with a good response team, like you guys are bearing the brunt of that. And that's like, again, they're coming home from work. They just want to, watch some, whatever's on TV, Severance. If you guys have seen that, great show.
Nice.
But they want to go home and they want to relax, and they're dealing with that. And then they call the property management, and it's like, oh my gosh, they're not doing anything. I can't even sleep. I can't rest. But So that's why having a good property manager company, property manager team is so valuable.
Yeah.
So it's really important. I'm curious how, because as you guys expand and you're hiring more people, one thing that you mentioned that's always been important to you, Christian, is like people being able to call you, because that's the service that you want to give to them so they know that they can get taken care of.
Yeah.
When you start getting to, 600, 1,000 properties, if that's the goal, or just keep growing at a good rate, it's going to be probably harder and harder. Yeah. And so you do have to find those people like Paige, you mentioned up at NorCal, that also continue to carry that same vision forward.
Yeah.
And what I've found in my business is like having the culture and the people bought into that vision is really, really important. So how have you guys developed culture and the vision and kind of made sure that all your employees feel the same way about taking care of your clients?
It's a good one.
Go for it.
Well, so a couple things that we do. One, we have an in-person team meeting twice a month. We use that time to collaborate, to talk about things that, are going right, things that are going wrong, things that we can improve on, things that one one manager maybe encountered that we can all learn from that situation. For the last 2 years, we've done a holiday party. We've been taking all of our employees out to dinner, and we've had a great night, and forked out some cash to have everybody enjoy themselves. And we've given our employees, Christmas bonuses to just show a sign of thank you. Like, not every employer does that. Like, not every employer has to do that. Not all employers want to do that. Like, but we want to. Like, we want our people to know that we appreciate them, that we appreciate the effort that they go through every day to represent our company, and that we're not here just for our own pockets. Like, we're not here just to be greed mongers to build this company that we don't appreciate anybody. And I think that our employees see that. Like, we took our employees out for lunch just randomly one day. We're like, hey, who's available to go to lunch tomorrow? Like, let's go. We're team lunch. And everybody was available. Like, just happened to work that way. So I think that's, some of the things in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that you want the employees to feel good about what they're doing, the company they're working for. It's always challenging because, when you start your own business, there's a certain kind of level of service you want to provide. And as you grow, getting team members that buy into that in terms of just timely communication, responsiveness, resolving problems, so it's kind of a balancing act between really letting them know, hey, this is what we expect out of you as a property manager, but also, making them feel like they're valued at the company, I think is really important. I think employee retention is just for a good valued employee is so important. You really got to keep them happy. And, but I think employees also do want to be challenged at times. I don't think they want something where, I think they want to feel like they're improving and there's growth professionally for them. And sometimes that's from kind of maybe pointing out an error or maybe making a suggestion, hey, let's do it this way, and then I think as they see themselves getting better and more skilled as a property manager, I think that gives them kind of a sense of reward in and of itself.
Yeah, a little bit of maybe a tactical approach to how you tell an employee, hey, you screwed up. Like, we're not firing you over this, but you definitely dropped the ball on this. Like, let's talk about it. Like, we want to get you to a point where these kind of mistakes don't happen. Like, make a mistake once, fine. Make a mistake twice, not fine. Like, figure out how to avoid that mistake from becoming a repeat occurrence.
Yeah, that's really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for us too, like, there's, you're sitting there and you're in the line of fire all day and just bullets whizzing by you. You're like, oh, shoot. What? Damn, I just did that again, didn't I?
Yeah.
Gosh, darn it. All right. Well, how do we stopgap that problem? Like, we just had to buy a washing machine yesterday because
Christian screwed up.
we screwed up as a company because we didn't have a process to say, hey, this owner said, I'm not warranting this washer and dryer. If they break, the tenant wants to buy a new one, fine. I'm not fixing it. I'm not buying a new one. We have to put that in the language. If we don't put that in the language of the lease, guess what?
Who's paying for that?
Who's paying for that?
Yeah.
The tenant goes, hey, my washer broke. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to find a washer for you, I guess.
Yeah.
So, like, those are things that happen. Like,
Got to offer up Facebook Marketplace.
yeah.
Exactly.
And that was instant take call to action. Like, hey, we screwed up. Get on the internet, shop Costco, shop Home Depot, call our appliance tech, look on, any offer up sites we can try to find a washer and dryer for the cheapest dollar that we can get it for and get it put in that property so that tenant doesn't have no laundry to do for however long, right? Some property managers would be like, oh, shoot, I screwed that one up. I'm going to just see how long I could ignore this problem. Like, no, attack the problem head on, fix it, deliver it, be done with it. Don't make that mistake again.
Yeah, that's important. I do have, as we wrap up here, we got I have like 3-ish questions for you. Number one should be pretty easy. Like 1 or 2 words, how would you guys stack up against your competition here in property management?
Like what separates us?
Yeah.
I like to think our responsiveness, I take a lot of pride in picking up the phone when someone calls. I think there are a lot of management companies out there where, the tenant will reach out to the management company, they don't get a response, and I kind of go through this when I'm trying to verify rental history for someone who's applied for one of our properties. I'll say, hey, I can't get a hold of your management company to verify that you paid rent on time. And they'll often say, oh, yeah, that company's really difficult to get a hold of. That seems like more the rule than the exception. So I think picking up the phone when people call, just being responsive, if it goes to voicemail, returning the call quickly. I think in this day and age where things are becoming more automated and, there's less kind of, there are fewer live human voice type phone calls. I think that goes a long way, just answering the phone. When someone needs something answered or a problem resolved, they want it resolved as quickly as possible. So I think just being service oriented, I think is just really, really important. I think that's what separates us.
Yeah, and I would say the second part would probably be, execution, right? Mm-hmm. And as he mentioned, I take phone calls pretty often throughout the week, and you'd be shocked at how many people actually go, wow, I actually got someone on the phone. It's like, wow, that's shocking for you. This is the way we operate our business. Like, if we don't take a phone call, we don't get new clients. Like, how can I help you? But then it's like, execute on whatever that call is. Is that a tenant who has a problem? Is that an owner who has an issue? Is that an owner who's looking for you to come on to hire? And it's like, take the phone call, run with the phone call, execute the situation, and be on to the next one. And I think that a lot of problems that you will encounter as an owner, landlord, or a tenant who's disgruntled is working with a property manager who just doesn't get the job done, like who just doesn't follow up to execute on whatever that problem is. Because this is what we are. We're everybody's problem solver. An owner's problem solver, a tenant's problem solver. We're solving someone's problem every day by what we do for a living.
Yeah.
I'm really big on, our clients should not have to ever chase us down to get an answer. Yeah. So when they email you, respond within a timely manner. When they call you, if you don't pick up the phone, things happen, you might be in a meeting, whatever, but if it goes to voicemail, return their call within a timely manner. Don't have them chase us down, They're paying us, not vice versa. So we got to make it as easy on them as possible.
Yeah. Well, that comes to the second question, which is, the last time we talked, you said, hey, AI is not going to have much of an impact on our industry. AI is quickly having big impact in pretty much every single industry. We've talked off the screen, off the block about how it's probably going to change your business. But at the same time, AI is not going to go fix the water heater. They're not going to have an extended conversation and settle a customer, and they're not going to make a customer feel better.
Right.
So for you guys, how do you think AI is going to continue to impact and improve your business?
Yeah, well, I think it's still kind of in the infancy, so it's still really hard. I know things are changing very rapidly, so 2 years from now when we meet again, it could be a whole different ballgame, but...
You're actually a robot.
It's hard to say for sure, I think that in property management, it's a lot of problem solving. It's a lot of, frankly, having somewhat of a bedside manner. When there's a problem and a tenant's upset, they still want to speak to a live voice, someone who's just showing that they care how you say something, just kind of like dissolving disputes is so important, and I still think humans are better equipped to handle that than AI. Now, I think that AI and, automation sometimes get intertwined, AI, machine learning, how's that going to change over time in our industry? I think it's still too early to say. But I think, in some capacity, it's going to streamline processes. I think it'll enhance the tenant experience on some level in terms of, submitting service requests, paying rent, just the whole process of communicating with a management company. So I think that, I don't think it's going to wipe out our industry by any stretch. I think that we're pretty protected because I think there's still a human element that's valued in this industry. Yeah. But I think it's really early to say exactly what impact AI is going to have ultimately. I mean, things are changing so fast,
Sure. I can definitely see where we could use AI implementation in a couple of our processes, mostly in the maintenance coordination, following up on invoicing, inbound calls for screening a tenant's problem. If it's an emergency, they're calling in. If they get an automated line it kind of helps you funnel through, like, what's the problem? How do we help you? Who do we need to get out there? Like, those are some things that we can probably spend a little bit of time and energy on, and maybe take some of the manpower out of the day for us. But again, like Christian said, there's so much human element to problem solving that you're not always going to get through AI. You're going to need, someone's going to need to go, oh, I've dealt with that problem. Yes, we know which vendor to get to that, and have that element of the relationship of the right person to fix the problem.
Definitely. Okay, well, that's gonna be exciting to see. Final question for you guys, just really easy. Chiefs or Eagles?
Chiefs. KC.
Eagles.
That's funny because it's a Rams fan, 49ers fan.
Yeah.
At least the Rams made it to the playoffs.
That's right.
Yeah, Rams finished strong. Yeah, Niners. Yeah, they kind of spiraled at the end there. But
Yeah.
We could have been in this game today. Could have been there.
Well, it's been a pleasure to grill both of you a little bit and kind of get an better understanding of top tier property management. Again, we are North Coast Networking Group. Our whole mission is to connect entrepreneurs in this community and to generate referrals between all of us. You can hear today how impactful that has been for top tier property management, how much their business has grown just because of North Coast Networking Group. They met at NCNG, just like a great little first date was NCNG. And that marriage that you guys have had through this business has had a huge impact on both your lives. So
yeah, absolutely.
We meet every Thursday at 7 a.m. At Beach Plum Kitchen, and we meet till 8:30. You're welcome to come, and the first 2 breakfasts are free. You can find us online at North Coast Networking Group. Before we clock off here, is there any other message that you want to give out to our audience as far as how to reach you or any other important things?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to learn more about our residential property management services, again, my name is Christian Vickery with Top Tier Property Management, and my number here is 619-535-7737. Give us a call.
And I'm Kelly Kline, co-owner of Top Tier Property Management. You can find us on the web at www.toptiermanagement.com. And you can also call us at 619-507-2200. Whether you're looking for full service property management, whether you're looking for a short-term, mid-term, or long-term property manager, we've got you covered. If you don't need a full-time, full-service property manager, but you need someone to help you locate qualified tenants, we also offer tenant placement services. So you can hire us for either or, depending upon what you're looking for. And check out our vacancies if you're looking for a new place to rent.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right.
A lot of fun.
Good episode. And also, cheers to our host, Max Lux Media, Rob Esposito in his studio. Episode 30 in the books today, and episode 31 coming up next. I'm loan coach Kelly, and my partner.
I'm David West, your solar best.
Because believe it or not, when I took the test, because
I could do the cabinet for that.
The bed making, that's not included in my prices.
Additional services.
That was just kind of the presentation.
I came out here originally in 1992.
That bottle is out there, so you can just tell people, go ahead and rescan it. We have some new policies.
We basically fixed the drainage system from cast iron to ABS.
I was doing it at the time when women weren't really into the brokerage industry.
If you go to keithbadner.com, call my staff or myself at
afford, one of the biggest investments of life, plus a lot of other services.
Here to beautiful San Diego.
help them in any sort of real estate transaction.
Dubs.
I cannot believe how sophisticated this studio is. I'm excited about the quality of this production.
They've nailed it.